Hello everyone, I am Camila Hornos and this is my new biology channel. In today's video, we will be speaking about cellular respiration. Respiration is a chemical process taking place inside all our cells. The process of respiration is mainly confused with breathing, and even though both of them include gases, they're quite different. This reaction allows plants and animals to produce ATP, which means energy. This energy is gathered from the glucose they consume. This is the reaction for respiration, showing how glucose and oxygen can produce water, CO2, and energy. This process occurs in the mitochondria of all living cells. There are two types of respiration processes, aerobic and anaerobic respiration, which anaerobic respiration can also be called fermentation. The chemical reaction seen before belongs to aerobic respiration, which takes part in the mitochondria of cells. Anaerobic respiration doesn't need oxygen and takes part in the cytoplasm of living cells. Also, after the chemical reactions, the results are different. Even though they both produce ATP, aerobic respiration also produces CO2 and water. In animals and humans, anaerobic respiration takes place when we do aerobic exercise. As our muscles work harder, we need more energy to keep them working. With anaerobic respiration and this chemical reaction, we can keep them doing what they need to do. And due to the lack of oxygen, lactic acid is produced as well as ATP. Lactic acid is the fluid produced by our body to break down, because of the lack of energy, to break down the carbohydrates we consume, which in this case is glucose. This way, the body gets the energy it needs to continue doing aerobic exercise. This is the chemical reaction for the anaerobic respiration process in humans and animals, showing how glucose is transformed without oxygen into lactic acid and energy, and this is a chemical way of saying it. You might be wondering what happens with the lactic acid after the anaerobic respiration. Well, when you receive more oxygen after doing exercise, oxygen starts breaking down the lactic acid, and you go back to aerobic respiration. Plants and fungi need different situations than humans and animals to produce anaerobic respiration. These are waterlogged environments or dense liquids. In other words, situations in which they don't get oxygen. Plants and fungi, on the other hand, need this chemical reaction to produce their energy. In this case, they're not producing lactic acid and ATP, they're producing ethanol, which makes it an alcoholic fermentation. Without this process, plants wouldn't be able to survive underwater or in really dense liquids. For example, when we're baking bread, we see that the dough rises after we leave it for a long time with the yeast. This is because alcohol and CO2 are being produced. The bubbles of CO2 make the dough rise, improving how the alcoholic fermentation works for plants and fungi. The outcomes produced by the respiration process are different because the enzymes inside our bodies are also different. So it is normal that for plants and fungi you would get alcohol, in this case ethanol, and CO2, but in our bodies you would get lactic acid and ATP. I mean, it's better this way, because if not, every time we would do exercise, we would get drunk from the ethanol running around our veins. Remember, breathing and respiration are two different processes. Breathing is a muscular contraction, and respiration is a chemical reaction. I know, they sound really similar, but they are really different. Without the respiration process, our bodies wouldn't work, and it would cause death. And for flowers, there would be no photosynthesis. Respiration provides energy, ATP molecules, to our bodies and to plants. We need it to survive. If you enjoyed and learned with this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos about biology. Bye!